Today on What It's Like, 1962 Buick Special, America's first mass-produced V6. But before getting into all of it, I'm Jay. Welcome to What It's Like. This channel, we feature the classics, vintage, some exotics, lots of orphan cars, and cars that tend to get lost in the shuffle. If that sounds like a channel that you'll totally dig, subscribe and hit the bell icon next to it to never miss a video. This 1962 Buick Special is currently for sale at Classic Auto Mall in Morgantown, Pennsylvania. What's Classic Auto Mall? Classic Auto Mall is the largest automotive consignment dealership in the northeastern region of the US of A. Anyone can go there and get this. It doesn't cost a thing to get inside. For more information, pricing, and pictures pertaining to this very car, click the link below after the show. 1962 Buick model lineup. These are in any particular order. Special, and then there was the Special Deluxe and Skylark. Full-size Buicks included LeSabre, Invicta, Electra 225, and the Wildcat debuted in the spring. Buick offered the Special from 1936 to 1942, stopped production for World War II, picked up in 1945 to 1958, took a bit of a break, came back in 1961, and then retired the name in 1969. The Special was the entry-level Buick. 1962 Buick essentially was a carryover body design. 1961 on top, 1962 on the bottom. Starting in the front, the grills are totally different. Look at the 61. Doesn't it look very similar to, like, say, a 62 Chevy grill design? Aside from the grill and the headlight placement, the only other change that I can see, moving to the side profile of the car, you could see it a little bit better, are the vanity ports. They're oval on the 61, whereas on the 62, they're more rectangular. As far as any other changes, I can't see any other changes made to the side profile of the car, nor the rear and the rear quarter section. Both are pretty much identically the same. Moving inside to take a look at the dash region, the same exact design, only with a new steering wheel. It still has a two-spoke design, but it's been upgraded. Which one do you like better in the comment section below? 1962 Buick Special could be had as a four-door sedan, two-door convertible, four-door wagon, and two-door sedan. Moving on to specs, 188.4 inches long, 70.9 inches wide. It rides a wheelbase of 112.1 inches. It weighs 2,635 pounds, which is really light. Price, $2,300, which is equivalent to you spending $22,784.47 in the year 2023. Total 1962 Buick production was 399,526 units, of which total Special was 110,790 units, and of that number, two-door sedans was 19,135 units. Moving on to engines. Two engines on offer, 215 cubic inch displacement V8, 3.5 liters. It's good for 155 brake horsepower, 4,600 RPM, 220 pound-feet of torque at 2,400 RPM, compression of 9-to-1, 5 main bearings. This engine is made from cast aluminum, which is super cool. When mated to a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60, 9.3 seconds. Theoretical top speed, 104 miles per hour. Average fuel consumption, 15.2 miles to the gallon. Moving on to the all-new for 1962 Buick's Fireball V6. This engine is derived from the 215 V8. And this is genesis for what would become later the 3800 V6 that was found in the Grand National. And this was Buick's first six-cylinder exclusive to Buick since their inline six was discontinued in 1930. This engine was in production from 1961 to 2008. And some really interesting trivia, in 1967, GM sold the design to Kaiser Jeep because they no longer felt the need to produce a V6. 198 cubic inch displacement V6, 3.2 liters. It's good for 135 brake horsepower, 4,600 RPM, 205 pound-feet of torque at 2,400 RPM. Compression 8.8 to 1, features 4 main bearings. This engine isn't built out of cast aluminum like its bigger V8 brother, but it's made of cast iron. When coupled to a 3-speed manual transmission, 0 to 60 could be had in 10.5 seconds. Theoretical top speed 101 miles per hour. Average fuel economy 15.7 miles to the gallon. Let's talk styling. So just check out all of the lines that are happening on the side here. Notice this is dished out, but not only is it dished out, it bulges in the center here, and there's also an ever so slight crease right underneath special. And you can see that crease get more protruded as it goes down the side. There's so many lines going on right here. So you have this top part here that has a crease. You have this part here that's coming out at you. Plus you have the dished aspect of it. Down inside here is a totally different element of it. And right here is like a ripple. And the ripple is inside the wheel well. Also check out this line here. It protrudes more and more as it comes back down the side. So it's like a side fin as it's coming to the back. Also notice here, this is the line that wasn't so evident, but now it's very evident, and it also curves inside here. Very interesting design. It's got really wide drip rails. I can put my finger in between the drip rail and roof. Coming back to the front section, check out the spear. This looks very Corvette-like, but this predates the Stingray. I love how they put chrome here, or brightwork, stainless. Here's what underneath the bumper looks like. Comes to a nice subtle point here in the front. Notice it has a wraparound backlight coming to the rear back here, but before we do, gas filler is on the driver's side. Look at the taillights and how they wrap around. And even back here, it's all curved here. It comes into a pretty aggressive point here, I would say, and then it dips back down. Keyhole is right there. Backup lights. Notice this is all texturized as well. Getting inside, just notice how this door is designed. Look at all the different lines going on. It's also not very thick. Like the thickest point's right here. It's all trimmed out, and it's got this nice rubber gasket seal going around it. Here's my finger for reference to show you how thin this door frame is. Door frame is very similar to, say, the Saab 96 or a Jaguar XKE or an E-Type. Notice how all of this works. Look at how that's almost touching, but it's not. Door panels here. It feels like a vinyl material, yeah, it feels like a vinyl material. Here is the armrest and or door handle to pull the door shut. Up there is the door handle, and that's the window crank for the big window, which we'll do on the inside because this one's kind of close to another car. Take a look at the interior real quick. Coming down inside the pedal box down here, there is a vent right here for that vent in the footwell. High beam switch on the floor, brake pedal, gas pedal. The transmission tunnel isn't that, it's not that wide. It's very tall though. Nice quality sound shut there. Here is the window crank for the big window, and it operates like that. Pretty standard. Vent window right here, it operates like that. Here's what over the hood looks like. Here's what first person over the hood looks like. Here's what under the steering wheel situation looks like. I only show this because if you can't fit in the car, you can't really buy it to drive it. You'd have to switch out the steering wheel column and everything else because this steering wheel column does not telescope or tilt. The seat does move. If you're a little bit bigger than me, like 38, you probably won't fit in this car. The steering wheel is going to hit your crotch when you're turning it. On to the button switches and knobs, starting on the left-hand side, moving right, heat and ventilation controls, which are controllable by 3 levers: fan, temperature, and air. Air could be on or it could be on defrost. 3 idiot lights for amp meter, coolant temperature, oil pressure. All lights for reasons I can't explain. Headlights, wipers, speedometer, odometer, drive modes read, park, neutral, drive, low, reverse, gasoline gauge, ignition, lighter. Up above, there are some sun visors. Here's what the sun visors look like. Here's my hand for reference. They're pretty good sized sun visors. Over here, there is a nice rear view mirror. Over here, another sun visor for the passenger. Take a look at this steering wheel. It's a 2-spoke design. It's a very weird design. It's nice and thin and it's slightly dished, but it's very interesting. The dash situation is also very interesting. There's an ashtray here. On to the glove box test. Here is our test subject. Here's my hand for reference. Here is the glove box in question. And the slot just looks too narrow. Oh, look at that. It's plausible that it'll fit in there. I don't want to push it in there all the way because I don't want to lose my camera in this car. So it's possible. Getting in the rear seat. Going to get in the rear seat on the passenger side because there's more space over here. Just simply push the seat forward and just notice it pivots out of the way, giving you tons of access to get in the back seat. So here's a look at what the seat profile looks like. Just notice it's kind of bulging in the center. This part up here sits back further than the center, as well as the bottom part. The cushion dipped down in the back. That's generally the story for all the cars of the 60s. For whatever reason, they just like putting the seats angled up like this. So consequently, it has your knees jutting up as well. Here's what my knee situation looks like. It's a bit negative. The seat will have to go forward a wee bit if I was to sit back here. I'm 6'2", so generally kids would sit back here, not full-size adults, but I just like showing what it's like to sit back here. This is what I look like sitting in the back. I got tons of headroom, but I'm 6'2". Generally, adults don't sit in the back seat. It's more or less for kids, but I just wanted to show you, if you go to the car show and you've met some friends or whatever, and they're 6'2", they're not gonna fit back here very good. It's okay if you had to drive a couple minutes or whatever. It all depends on how tall you are as the driver. If you could slide the seat forward a little bit, it would be more comfortable for taller people in the back. Creature comforts. So there is a dome light right there. There is not a coat hook on that side nor on this side, but there also isn't an armrest, but these windows do go down and they operate like this, and they go all the way down. It's got this nice post here. So this is a 2-door sedan. It would be, if it didn't have a post here, it would be a 2-door hardtop. That is the easiest way to tell a hardtop from a sedan, is the pillar here. Here is what the front looks like from the back. Let's take a quick gander at the greenhouse, or the pillar to glass ratio. This car feels very airy inside. The pillars aren't very big, and that's a good look out the back light. That's what the rear visibility looks like from the back seat. It does have a little bit of a shelf here. It's not that big. Here's my hand for reference. Also, the floor, it feels like a mat of some sort. Not quite a rubber mat. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but it's very slick. It's not carpet. and my feet just slide all over the place. It's crazy. Getting underneath the hood release is right here. And that is what the engine looks like. It's a pretty small battery. Oh, this is a V6. How cool is that? Single master cylinder right there on the firewall. I'm going to back up a little bit. It doesn't raise up that high, just so you know. I'm not sure if this is an aftermarket alternator. 62, I think they still had generators, but I could be wrong. Coil is just neatly tucked up underneath there. On the positive side, attractive styling, interesting engine options, compact size, super interesting car overall. Against it, somewhat rust prone, trim parts are getting hard to find. Now it's time for Would You Rather. 2 scenarios. If money wasn't an object. First scenario, 1962 Buick Special, or 1962 Mercury Comet, or 1962 Dodge Dart. And I'm going to leave this here. If you need more time to decide, feel free to pause the video. Moving on to the second scenario. Now, if money wasn't an object, and this is totally random, 1936 Chrysler Airflow, or 1936 Packard 120, or 1936 Cadillac Series 3660 in the comment section below. Moving on to Name That Tune. First person to give me both the correct name of the band and song title, first person to do both correctly will have their comment pinned to the top of the comment section. Thank you all so much for coming out and watching this. If you'd like to get in touch with me, shoot me a comment in the comment section below, or check out our Facebook group that correlates with this YouTube channel. If you don't have Facebook and would like to message me, talk to me one-on-one, shoot me an email. All of it will be linked in the description. Just know I appreciate all of the support. And until next time, here's some scenes for our next episode. 1957 Chevy Bel Air 4-door hardtop. We've already covered the 57 Chevy, but it was a 2-door convertible, and I told you guys that we're going to do as many body styles as we can. So 57 4-door hardtop, super cool car. That's what's coming up next on What It's Like. Tune in Sunday at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time to catch that episode. And until then, toodaloo! So check this out. This is a bathroom vanity. Isn't that cool? It's got a nice big drawer. Look at how long that is. Just check this out. And it could come all the way out if you wanted it to.